So I'm gonna start introducing all the chilies. First, the Habanero. This is such a beautiful chili. Very fruity, tropical notes. It's got a lot of depth when you kind of just first smell it. But the Habanero right now is across two of our marinades, the El Pastor and the Mexican jerk, and also in the tropical salsas, our fruit salsas. One of the cool things with the Habanero is that you can get a lot of flavor with a fruit, just because being kind of like brother sister to the Scotch bonnet from the Caribbean. This chili is quite a moldable chili when you introduce the sugar. So I've got a few sweet tropical salsas with this right now. But yeah, come and try them. But yeah, this is some really nice chilies. Second, we've got the Chipotle. So it's the smoked Chipotle. Yeah, there's a lot of earthiness when it comes to this chili. At the moment, I'm working on the final recipe that or the latest recipe for the carnitas. So the carnitas is pulled pork. Been trialing a lot of variations when it comes to Chipotle, but there's an element that I'd like to introduce, kind of the rehydrated versions within the marinade. So yeah, that's kind of a cool recipe that I'm working on. Then we've got Pasilla. Pasilla is it's another kind of earthy chili, but it's got a lot of sweeter, fruity aromas. Maybe not as smoky as the Chipotle, but definitely smokier than the Guajillo. The Pasilla at the moment, it's in a main salsa, the salsa roja OG. That one is kind of like a flagship salsa. It's the one that's got 4 different chili variations, most developed in terms of flavor depth. But the Pasilla acts as a deepening flavor underneath kind of the tomatoes and the hibiscus. And also we're trialing a couple of lamb dishes for a little bit more of a Sunday roast, inspiration, Mexican infused Sunday roast. So the Pasilla is definitely a key player. Then we've got the Ancho. Now the Ancho is basically a really raisiny kind of chili. Very sweet when you first kind of smell it. It's got a lot of a lot of smokiness, but this is because the chilies there, where we're getting them from at the moment, they're working with a lot kind of a smokier way to kind of mature the chili. But the Ancho, at the moment, it's in gravy, main gravy for our Sunday roast. And at the same time, it's in Ancho mole, Ancho, saying in English twang, Ancho mole. First, the mole is a chili chocolate sauce that is basically championed throughout different states of Mexico. If not every single state of Mexico has their own type of mole. But in order to start a really nice depth of understanding each of the layers for this type of recipe, I basically simplified it and gone to the root of what flavors I'd like it to lead with the Ancho chili. And for that, I basically used the tamarind, some dates and prunes to add some depth. And the Ancho, because being kind of a raisiny flavor, it should start to carry the kind of the marinade forward. At the moment, we've got it with a pork shoulder that we kind of break apart at the last minute. It's a beautiful sauce working at the moment. Now the Guajillo. The Guajillo is probably the most famous. Yeah, it's so fruity, more kind of citrusy notes in here. But It's probably the most popular chili in Mexico, yet here in the UK, no one seems to know what it is. It's vibrant red. The kind of like origin, kind of like fresh chili of the Guajillo is called mirasol. Mirasol in instant translation is to kind of like to look at the sun. So hence kind of like the red hue within this chili. Now this is used across quite a few of the recipes inside here, starting with our flagship marinade, my favorite kind of like marinade, most developed flavor that I've got so far, the Al Pastor marinade. The Guajillo pays a heavy tribute to Mexico, which is, yeah, more people need to know what this is. It's a very kind of like complex yet quite simple flavor that once understood, you can really hone down on the different ways that you can explore it. Because we've got it on our Sunday roast menu for the lion's mane steak. We basically make a Guajillo dust that sits with the final stages of cooking the lion's mane. And damn, it's as simple as that sounds. Or the mushroom taco. That one pays kind of tribute to the simplicity of how you could utilize the chili just by thinly slicing it, and then combined with like a variety of mushrooms cooked really nicely, slow, but the flavor that you can extract from this chili is so interesting. So yeah, that's the Guajillo. And then we've got chile de árbol. Now chile de árbol is probably the other spiciest chili here, after the Habanero. But the Habanero plays more of like a spice, a fruity spice, whereas the chile de árbol is a more kind of like citrusy, dry heat that you get from it. Now the chile de árbol, the way that you've been kind of like trying it in the menu at the moment is through the different fresh salsas, fresh salsa rojas. So every time that you come here, I basically introduce you to the salsas that we're working on. And if you hear me sometimes explain a little bit more of what chili is being used, this is a chile de árbol. Very interesting way to kind of like utilize heat that is not gonna like kill you off straight away, but at the same time you get more of like a kick, which is quite nice. But yeah, those are all the chilies, which is quite cool. Yeah, I thought I'd give you a little bit more insight as to what they are.